Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. It's official, Joyce will be fighting Bermane Stiverne on the undercard of the DeGale Eubank pay-per-view event next month. News of this fight had leaked early, courtesy of Bermane Stiverne, who made it public a week ago. But now broadcaster ITV has officially announced it. And we'll get straight into some of the quotes. So Joyce on social media, see here on screen, with the accompanying promo poster stated, "It's officially on. See you in Feb at the O2 London. I'm coming home." His manager Sam Jones had posted this clip with the caption, "When the fight is signed and sealed." But he did go on to criticise Stiverne and other social media postings, saying, "Every man that puts gloves on I respect, but as a person I have zero for this guy. Horrible human being. Had so many messages from Americans wanting Joe to beat Stiverne. I hope the UK fans boo him out of the arena." And he added in another tweet, he sparred Joe and stopped halfway through a round to make sure everyone's phones were in their pockets. February 23, find out who was lying. And talking to ITV, which is carrying the card, Joyce said, "I had respect for Bermane Stiverne. We sparred in Las Vegas. He said he took me to school in an interview. It got ugly. It made this fight happen. I tried to be respectful of him, but he's rude and was having none of it. He's a former world champion that has gone 12 rounds with Deontay Wilder and will give me a real challenge, but my engine and my power will be too much for him, a fact he should be aware of." Joyce's promoter Richard Schaefer told ITV, "Only 7 fights, Joyce has become the number 5 ranked heavyweight in the world." And I'd note sidebar there, that is in the WBA. But the spectacular way in which he has won all of his 7 fights by knockout have made him the number 1 fan favourite in the heavyweight division. That was Richard Schaefer there. And Bermane Stiverne, he said, "I told my promoter Don King to get me any man on earth and I will fight for the right to prove myself to the world." Then the phone rings. It's Don. He tells me Joyce, a boxer with only 7 bouts, agrees to meet me. 7 bouts, 7 fights, and he has the audacity to box me. I have stopped Chris Arreola, Ray Austin, the then undefeated Kirsten Manswell, and a boxer with 7 fights wants to box me. I say to Don, sign it, take it, grab it, I'm ready. 7 fights and he wants to box me. For me, it's a dream come true, but for Joyce, it will be a nightmare. I will knock out Joyce and step over him to KO Anthony Joshua. I'm primed and ready. The real Bermane Stiverne will be there on February 23rd and will knock out Joyce en route to regaining my heavyweight crown. Sorry, but, some of that was starting to devolve into fantasy there for me. Just my personal opinion. 40-year-old Bermane Stiverne has been inactive since being destroyed by Deontay Wilder 18 months ago inside 1 round. Many fans and pundits alike, including myself, predict Stiverne will not fare any better against Joyce. WBA regular champion Manuel Charr is set to defend his title against Fraser Kendo on March 23rd in Cologne. Charr, who managed to retain his title via a technicality related to the B sample of an alleged failed doping test, was ordered by the WBA to face Kendo within 60 days, with March 23rd right at the end of that period.
Stay tuned, the heavyweight champion of the world! Come on, baby!
The 36-year-old former title contender Gerald Washington, who faces Adam Kanelski this weekend, says he never thought of quitting the sport after back-to-back losses to Deontay Wilder and Jarrell Miller. He says, "I ain't walking away from nothing. That never even crossed my mind. I worked way too hard to be thinking about that. Nothing is out of reach for me. I learn, I move forward. I'm not a quitter. I don't give up." And that was what he said to BBC. And in that Jarrell Miller fight, I would note, Washington retired after 8 rounds. That was in July 2017. His most recent fight was a win against John Wesley No Fire in June 2018. Andy Ruiz Jr. has hinted at a return to the ring in April. On his Instagram, Ruiz posted, "Hey, can call me many things, but slow is not one of them. Who is faster than me? Not Wilder, Miller, Joshua, White, Fury, Ortiz, especially not Kanelski. I'm on a mission. Watch me work. April 20. Prospect come fringe contender Junior Fa has confirmed he will be back in action on March 2nd in Columbus, Ohio. Fellow New Zealand heavyweight Hemi Ahio will also be on that same card. Fa, who is 16-0, says, "We've been training hard and just waiting on confirmed names. New Zealanders, especially Pacific Islanders, should be excited about this one." And the initial BoxRec listing for Fa has him scheduled to fight in a 10-rounder, with Ahio scheduled for an 8-rounder. Hemi Ahio is currently 12-0. And fellow heavyweights George Arias and Stephen Shaw are also listed on that same card. Meanwhile, rising heavyweight prospect F.A. Ajagba is set to return to the ring on March 9th in Las Vegas on the Porter Ugas undercard. Ajagba, who is 8-0, will be in a 6-rounder against an as-yet-to-be-named opponent. And in other news on scheduled fights, 11-0 prospect Yevgeny Romanov, who beat Deontay Wilder in the amateurs, will be on a card in Ekaterinburg, Russia on February 22nd. Also featuring on that card is gold medal winner from Rio 2016, Yevgeny Tishenko, who is currently 3-0 as a pro. The event listing on BoxRec has both without opponents as yet, but some reports have Romanov facing Canada's Dylan Carmen, who recently beat the then unbeaten prospect Simon Keane. David Price appears to have come to terms with his place in the heavyweight division, telling Sky Sports, "The reality is, when I've tried to reach world level, it hasn't worked out. And I accept that, so we'll just go as far as I can, wherever that may be. I know when the time comes and I lose again, and that's it. I can't make any more targets than that. It's got to be a short-term thing with me, step by step, and who knows where I might find myself. You just never know." Price is scheduled to fight next on March 30th on a matchroom card in Liverpool. After that, he would like to fight Lucas Brown, saying, "The Lucas Brown fight is one that's been mentioned this week, and it's a fight I asked for after the Tom Little fight. That's a fight I would love to take on board after this one, or even if he fights Dave Allen, whoever wins that. There's some nice fights out there to be had. We're not scratching around just fighting for the sake of it. There's that one and many others that we can have." Meanwhile, Michael Hunter is keen for his first fight of 2019, posting to Twitter to his promoter Eddie Hearn, @EddieHearn, feed me, #hunting season. The American is coming off recent wins against Alexander Ustinov and Martin Piccoli. After an absence of more than a year from the ring, Eric Molina is set to return Friday night in Texas against Hugo Trijulo. Molina last fought in November 2017 against Dominic Breazeale, and that was later confirmed as a WBC final eliminator. He had been due to face Marius Wack in May 2018, but was banned by the UK anti-doping agency immediately prior to that fight in relation to a substance in his system when he fought Anthony Joshua in the UK in 2016. Molina claimed the dexamethasone in his system came from vitamin B12, which he purchased over the counter and was administered by way of intramuscular injection on the day of the fight. Molina mounted a no-fault or negligence defence based on the fact he wasn't aware there was a banned substance in the vitamin B12. But UKAD wasn't having any of it, savaging Molina and his actions in an 18-page summary, saying every athlete is solely responsible for what's in their system and must adhere to the strict liability principle, and that the boxer simply ignored all the risks, failed to act with the utmost caution, and shows a significant degree of considerable fault. And I've gone into that level of context on this case because the ruling that banned him from all sport, it's not meant to run out until October 27 of this year, October the 27th. Yet we have Molina now back in action this Friday night, and he has another fight scheduled in February. And as far as I can tell, there is no open source information regarding any relief that's been granted to Eric Molina in this case. So I've sought clarification from UKAD directly on this matter because he's coming back, about 9 months earlier than he should be. But in a tweet acknowledging his comeback, Molina said on Twitter, "The absence has only made him hungrier." The 5-0 prospect Arslanbek Makhmedov returns to the ring this weekend in Montreal against well-travelled journeyman Jason Bergman. At this stage of his prospect phase, this is a really good test for the 29-year-old Russian, who's now based out of Canada. And the Rio gold medalist Tony Yoka, who has been serving a ban in France for missing drug testing, is eager to return to the ring. Yaku's 12-month ban is only in place in France, but he's chosen not to fight elsewhere in the meantime. His suspension will be up in a few months. On Instagram, Yaku told his followers, "Good year to all. Sorry I was absent some time. Soon return to the ring. Thank you for the messages of encouragement. Eager to see you again soon." That's it from me. As always, drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out.